How are we going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. We're in day 3 of our countdown to Invincible Shield. If you don't know already, we're doing a countdown to the new Judas Priest album. So every day I'm going to be reviewing a Judas Priest album. I'm going to be doing all of the albums leading up to release day of Invincible Shield. So join me on this journey. Go back, listen to the albums. Use this as an intro or an afterthought. So here we are. 3 days in. We're rocking. There's no stopping us now. So we are doing Sin After Sin. So this was released in 1976, I believe. Let's have a quick look. We're doing like an album a year now, I think it is. No, 77. So, yeah, Celebrants of Destiny would have been 76. Basically, the band have found their stride now, and they're just picking up where they left off with the last album, really. On this one, we've got Simon Phillips on the drums. I forget the last guy's name, but apparently they had sacked him not long before the recording sessions, and they needed a drummer pretty quick, so they got Simon Phillips in as a session drummer. Apparently they did offer him the job in the band, but he'd already took a gig doing a project with Jack Bruce from Cream, so he was pretty... I think if you look into his CV as well, he's a pretty accomplished drummer. He's worked with quite a few artists. So here's the artwork here. And yeah, so there's only 4 members on the back there. Apart from that, though, same lineup as usual, and it will be. Well, not until the 90s that things start getting a bit wobbly, and then they get really wobbly in the 2000s and 2010-ish. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So this one as well was produced by Roger Glover of Deep Purple fame. He was doing a lot of different projects at the time. He was obviously Deep Purple. He had that album as well where he had a whole... It was like a concept album. He had a whole host of different musicians on it, and that was one of the early gigs Ronnie James Dio got. And then obviously they all jumped ship and did Rainbow. This is my book I've been using. Obviously Wikipedia for all its sins is handy, but yeah, this is Judas Priest, Heavy Metal Painkillers, an Illustrated History by Martin Popov. He's done a few books like this of a couple of different bands, and they're always really good. You get my dog barking at. Next door's getting food delivered, but yeah, it's so it's pretty in-depth. Not an autobiography, but a biography. But yeah, loads of photos of around, you know, it's, yeah. And I just lost the page I was going to read, but here we go. Artwork, here we go. So for artwork, CBS art director Roslav Savo hired an Irish-born art school grad Bob Carlos Clark as illustrator. Clark went on to become a top erotic photographer and working mostly in black and white, and produced 5 photography books before dying in March in 2006 at the age of 57. There's not much about the concept behind it though, but yeah, pretty cool artwork. I quite the back as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's get into the music. Right, so Sinner. I mean, classic song. Again, we're hitting the ground running with this. Got a good upbeat tempo, good riffs. Cracking chorus with that Sinner, you know, dun, 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 you know, got that pummeling rhythm underneath it. Again, it's fairly regular now in the band's live show. They were doing it with Tim. I think they might have done it recently with in KK's Priests. Not too sure about that, but yeah, it's not a mainstay, but it does turn up now and then. Around the 2 minute 50 mark though, it comes into the solo section, and it's got a really nice melodic solo in it, and it's got like a nice little quiet moment, but I don't know, it seems to pass me by these days. And yeah, listening to this album for this series, that part really jumped out at me. It was a really nice section, and yeah, you just forget about it. With Sinner, I normally just chorus just sticks in my mind. So yeah, go re-listen to Sinner, the studio version, and skip to, well, don't skip, but make a note of 2 minutes 50 seconds when the solo section comes in. It goes a right nice quiet melodic section, really good. Blistering solo as always. Diamonds and Rust, again a Priest classic, but it is actually a cover. Who was the original? I've never actually bothered listening to the original version, but I'm not quite. It was originally, well, it was Joan Baez, I think that is. Apparently, she met the band and approved of the song as well, and she's a folk singer. It's got like some, a nostalgic look back on a romance has gone wrong, basically. It's got a bit of a disco feel to it, must be said. I've always wondered what made the band cover it, and it shouldn't work, but it kind of does, and it's a mainstay in the. I wish he'd hurry up and deliver them bloody. My next door neighbour's flat goes over my garden, and whenever she gets something delivered, my dog just acts like a guard dog, basically just barks at him the whole time. Anyway, distractions aside, so Diamonds and Rust, you all know it. I mean, there was a really good part in the live show. They've done it on and off where they sort of start it off as an acoustic song, and then like towards the end, it bam, and then it comes into like goes into like a ballad. But it's stayed in the band's repertoire in the live show. It's a favourite with the fans. Is what it is, really. It's not one of my favourite Priest songs, and I don't know why they rely on it so much, but I'm obviously in the minority there, so it doesn't matter. Starbreaker. Now we're talking. This is where what's really good about this series is that we get into the nitty-gritty of the band's back catalogue, and we're going to... all the little gems are going to come out. So, Starbreaker, that opening with the tone of the guitars, it's so heavy, and like, it's got this real heavy tone. It's just sexy and dark and dangerous. It's just got that dangerous feel to it. It's really cool, dark atmosphere on it, and great chorus as well. Starbreaker. Stop singing, Joe. During the chorus, and Starbreaker's an underrated gem. It is on Unleashed in the East in the bonus tracks on the reissue of it, but I don't remember it turning up in the later albums, in later live albums. That is, I'll have to have a look through, but yeah, I think this is a song that got lost. Last Rose of Summer is another lovely song. Again, starts off kind of, well, it's not even folky, it's just clean guitar, really nice melody, really nice singing by Rob, and it's got like this beautiful little solo at the end, and it's got like thingy bells at the end of the main melody, and it's catchy, and Last Rose of Summer, and you just... The band were more versatile then, but bands in general were more versatile then, and you just wouldn't get away with it these days. And I have noticed going forward the way when they got settled, right, heavy metal is a thing, and we're going to embrace that. And when it comes to Unleashed in the East, the live album, it kind of cuts off this period of the band's back catalogue. And basically anything that isn't on that album is basically just dropped. So in a lot of ways, if you wanted a rough guide to Judas Priest, you could just start with Unleashed in the East and don't really bother with the albums that come before it, unless you really want to dig deep into the catalogue and want to be a fan where you collect everything. But if you're a casual fan, the 70s pretty much is just covered by that album. And I probably got ahead of myself here. But it is worth getting into these albums, and that's the point I'm making with this, is that there is a lot of hidden gems on this first 5 or so out. Is it 5 albums? Yeah, it's 5 albums. And yeah, it's worth, and especially for songs like Last Rose Last Rose of Summer or Epitaph, or the Winter Trilogy on the first album. But yeah, really good song. Let Us Pray, stroke Call for the Priest. Let Us Pray is basically the intro. It's pretty much a straightforward metal song, actually, and quite an underrated one. It's Priest, what would become typical Priest. They've really found their formula on this song, and I think it's an underrated song as well. It's another one that's sort of fallen to the wayside, and I think if they pulled it out, it would be a good surprise for everyone. The album does kind of fizzle off towards in the second half for me, anyway. Raw Deal was a bit of a slow bluesy. It's got a good groove to it though. It's not slow, but it's got like a mid-paced groove. But it's all right, but doesn't really jump out at me. Here Come the Tears is a sort of like a ballad that sort of builds up to a climax at the end. But yeah, it's all right. And then it closes with Dissident Aggressor. You know that one, fight, and you all know it. We all thought it was a Slayer song. I grew up for ages not realising it was a Priest cover. Obviously, it's a lot heavier with Slayer. Some people say it's like the first thrash metal song. Come on now, let's not get carried away. It's one of the heaviest. It was probably the heaviest song up at that point, and it has got like a pummeling rhythm underneath it. The drums on it are fantastic, but so did Helter Skelter by the Beatles. You know, like it's a good Back then, this wasn't heavy metal. This was heavy rock. You know, heavy metal hadn't really. I don't think it had fully become a thing yet. But yeah, it's metal, but. Prototype thrash, I don't think so. No, it's not as chaotic and fast and furious as thrash. Well, I'm not sure what a proto thrash metal song would be. I'll have a think about it and mention it if it comes up. But yeah, it closes the album nicely, and it kind of gives you, more of a hint of the direction the band's going to go in. So obviously you got Diamonds and Rust and Descendant Aggressor and Sinner are the classics of the album. But yeah, Starbreaker, Last Rose of Summer, and Call for the Priest are the nice underrated gems that I think are worth checking out if you haven't. And Raw Deal and Here Come the Tears, they're alright, but not really. I'm enjoying them while they're on, but I'm not going to revisit them. And on this particular, this was part of a series of remasters. See on the spine now. It was a good little series, actually. Obviously, everything reissued, remastered. This is around the time Rob come back into the band, I think. And each one come with a couple of bonus tracks. You would get like a studio outtake, either a B-side or a previously unreleased song, and then a live track. So you get 2 bonus tracks every album, 1 outtake and 1 live track. And on this one, you get Race with the Devil. Now, I always thought when it kicked in, I was like, oh, cool, and that instantly recognisable riff, and I was like, oh, they're covering Girl School, but obviously not. The band's actually called I looked it up as well on Girl School. Girl School didn't release their version of it until 1980 on their debut album Demolition. So this is actually recorded before then. This is in '77, but both of them covered it. This is the original band is actually called The Gun. Didn't know that. I always thought it was a Girl School song. So yeah, nice little surprise there, and a really good version of a song you're all familiar with. So check that out as well. Yeah, but overall, Sin After Sin is just another good addition to what's becoming a flourishing back catalogue, and yeah, you're just seeing the band develop, and over the 3 albums, you're seeing a band that's pretty much capable of doing everything, and they're gonna try everything, but they're just whittling it down, where the metal is just becoming the main formula of the band's songs and repertoire. That's all the other sometimes proggy, and the ballady and the folk songs and the piano song. It's all just whittling down, and forging into the British steel that the band would go on to be known for. So here we go then, folks. That's day 3 out of the way. As always, thanks for watching. Give us one of them if you're enjoying this series. Go back to the beginning, and if you want to start with me and start listening to the band's back catalogue. Like I say, we are doing an album a day until release date of Invincible Shield, and I'm looking forward to it. What do you think of this album? What's your favourite Priest album, by the way? What one are you looking forward to? What do you think is an underrated Judas Priest album? And have you heard songs from the new album yet? And what do you think of it so far? Let me know what you think, folks. And yeah, let's get a good conversation going about Judas Priest, and let's have a good couple of weeks going through the catalogue, enjoying the songs, and yeah, looking forward to the new album. Thanks a lot, everyone. I'm enjoying this, and yeah, keep going. See you soon.